Already made 2 videos today. I uploaded one, but I'm just gonna make another freestyle one. But basically, I just wanted to speak about victory. The theme of victory. We live in some difficult times, and yeah, man. People, it's easy to get into a defeatist mind frame, the victim mentality, getting caught in the trap of being a victim and identifying as a victim, someone who is always subject to the will of the world, external to yourself, as a victim to external circumstance, victim to chance, victim to competition, but competition not just as a game, but competition for survival. In a dog-eat-dog world where it's a zero-sum game and there are limited resources and everyone needs the same resources to survive. So everyone's battling for the same resources, which are limited, which are not infinite. And the more we I think it was over the last century or 2 centuries where it's been like the biggest expansion in human population. Like it went from a couple billion, I think, to like 7 or 8 billion now. I'm not sure, I haven't checked the chart exactly, but I think it was like over the last 100 or 200, maybe 300 years. It's literally just, it was like this, and then right now we're like in an infinite bull market. So if you even understand anything about charts, anything about peaks and valleys, you know that as the peak comes, the valley follows. So really something, well, this wasn't even the topic of the video, but I do think that something is around the corner where something's going to equalize the population. Either we're going to it's going to naturally happen by itself, or we're going to choose to do that, or some kind of cataclysm will equalize the population. Because as you keep on expanding and consuming more and more of the resources, it's basically like a cancer. That's what cancer is on the microcosm, and that's in a sense what we're kind of becoming on the macrocosm. So it kind of has to get equalized back down, because the more resources, the more people, the more resources we're taking up, and then the more demand there is and way less supply. You know what I'm saying? So prices skyrocket, and it's insane. And of course, printing and all the central banks, I've already just talked about all of that, making it worse anyway. But the whole point of that tangent goes to say that it's a difficult time, and it's easy to fall into the victim mentality and fall into the defeatist mindset where everyone is actually giving up. But when I say giving up, though, it really, what are we giving up, though? Because there are some things that we need to give up, and some things that still need to be protected. But yeah, you have to realize that obviously on the absolute level, as I've said many times, there isn't really a goal for life. Life is just to live. Whether you're happy, whether you're sad, whether you succeed or don't succeed, it doesn't really matter as long as you live. However, even though it's not an absolute goal on the relative play, it really, victory is the goal. Of course. Don't you? It's so obvious. Like, and obviously that's an abstract concept, and you can narrow it down to any particular field or any particular condition or situation, depending on what your goal is, or your niche, or what you're trying to pursue. But victory, just as a whole, that's the goal, of course. So, need to let go of this defeatist mindset. Start taking back your control, taking back your power as a sovereign being, and stop. Like, because, see, you are a sovereign being, you are like the self. You are consciousness. So to say, you're, in a sense, like your consciousness. So everything that appears in front of you, like consciousness is just a light that shines. And your mind is like the prism through which the light is refracted into the different colors, and it refracts into the forms and shapes. But it's your mind which is the prism. So it's like there's consciousness which is a white light, formless, and it just shines. But then it's your mind that's like the camera or the filter. Do you get what I'm saying? So the mind, everyone, that's why I'm saying consciousness is uniform. Everyone has the same white light, but everyone has a different mind, a different like filter. And that's why they all see different things. And of course, to some level, like you could say 50% of like everyone's consciousness or most people's consciousness overlaps. Like, or maybe even 99% of it. That's the collective conscious. But then that 1% on the artificial layer, kind of, that's basically what makes everyone unique, because everyone has a different one. But then there's also like 50% or 6%, or you could say 90%, doesn't really matter. But there's a lot that overlaps of like core axioms, core beliefs that everyone subscribes to in the mass collective, which you could call the matrix. So yeah, victory is an abstract concept. So of course it matters about what we're giving up, what we're losing, and what we want to win. Of course that matters. It can't, like just saying, "Oh, just winning." Of course I am saying, really, in a general sense, victory, just as a general sense, is the goal. But when you subscribe down into the more relative plane where everything is divided and conditional, it matters what conditions you're speaking about. So there are some things that we do need to give up, and there's some things that we need to defend. And of course, that's for everyone to decide what those things are. I'm not going to try to preach to you, but I'm just speaking. But yeah, you have to really let go of the defeatist mindset and remember that it's about victory. And really, that's what you want. You want to be the victor. You want to succeed. So why? And this was the point that I was going into before, is that you're the sovereign being, you're the consciousness, and it's your mind which is refracting the image that you see. This is quantum mechanics. You're collapsing the wave function. The subject that you are affects the object that you perceive, and the objects, which is the world. So the way you are changes the way you see the world. And others, externals, they can't really control your mind. They can't think thoughts for you. They can't be conscious for you. Only you can be conscious for you. Only you can think your own thoughts, even though in absolute sense I've explained in my prior videos the nature of thoughts, that actually you're not the one thinking your thoughts, but that's how it appears. And you should cooperate with that, because then there's another trap where you say, "Oh, I have no free will," and then you start acting like you have no free will, even though it appears that you do, and like on your level, really, it feels like you do. And then if you just kind of give that up, like your own control, then you're just going to get abused. So that's stupid. So you should still act as if you have free will and power of choice, even though in the ultimate sense you don't, because you was always going to choose what you were going to choose anyway, but still, in a sense, you have the power of choice. It allows you to choose because it doesn't matter, because it was going to happen anyway. So it doesn't even need to like restrict you. Like you are bound by your own actions. This is what karma means. Karma is not some other god like accounting for like what's going on. It's like, no, you're the god, you are zero, and the more you like, if you deviate into that way or you deviate into that way, because you are always yourself and you can never not be that, the deviation is always kept in record because it's always in contrast to the anchor, which is zero. So that's why it's always like your actions is what causes the reactions that you experience. And yeah, so we just need to do the right action, the right karma to get the right reactions. Right now, we're doing the wrong actions and we're getting the wrong reactions. So we have to now start doing the right actions. And how we do that is by aligning with truth and aligning with the absolute more and more. We can never be completely aligned with the absolute, as we are in limited forms. However, we have to try and align ourselves with it as closely as possible. So that's what we need to be striving for, and never forget the goal. The goal is to win. So I'm going to leave this one as a short one. And yeah, you can think about that a bit.